First and foremost, all praises are due to Yahweh Bashim Hawashai, Bashim Kakadash. Double honor to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone for teaching us his truth. Salutations to the brothers around the four corners of the earth who are teaching this word in truth and sincerity. And shalom to the hopeful elect of Israel who listen and believe in this word. This is Brother Kawat Sabad coming at you with another lesson. This one is entitled, The Love of Many Shall Wax Cold. And I got the idea to do this particular lesson based on an article I seen in Google News by The Atlantic. And the article is entitled, How America Got Mean. And if you haven't noticed, ever since the C-19, ever since that period a couple years ago, I don't want to say the word, but ever since the C-19, I've noticed that Americans have even become even more meaner, have waxed cold to each other even more. The love has gone away even more. It wasn't like it was in a great state then before the C-19, but now you notice it when you drive. People are driving erratic. People are very rude. They go past stop signs. They go past red lights. They flip you off. Road rage is most likely at an all-time high. Even when you go to the supermarket, you can feel the spirit of people, the meanness of people. And this has happened, of course, this is happening, due to the times that we're in. We're in the last days, you see. And so Yahweh is bringing about this spirit because it's part of prophecy. So all these things have to happen to bring about, the total downfall of America. It's got to fall down so they can bring about the MOTB, the CHIP spoken of in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 and 17. So everything has to go haywire, you see, so they can bring about that miracle CHIP. And they'll say, well, you know what? Things are so bad that we have to revamp and reset things. It's known as the Great Reset. And the principal tool will be that CHIP, the RFID chip, the radio frequency identification device. That's going to be the main instrument to bring about change. So they're bringing the chaos. And I mean I'm talking about the elites of the Edomites, because they want to bring about the New World Order system. And Esau, the white man, the devil, our adversary, the elites of the Edomites, they want to get their birthright back because they gave their birthright to Jacob, the 12 tribes, you see, who were the 12 sons of Jacob. So they gave away their birthright and they want it back. So everything has to happen according to the prophecy and scriptures, So Esau is being directed by Yahweh, as we all are being directed by Yahweh. So let's get into the article, and we'll get some scriptures to back up the article. So it says, How America Got Mean. In a culture devoid of moral education, generations are growing up in a morally inarticulate, self-referential world. Let's begin. It won't be a long article. Over the past 8 years or so, I've been obsessed with two questions. The first is, why have Americans become so sad? The rising rates of depression have been well publicized, as have the rising deaths of despair from drugs, alcohol, and suicide. But other statistics are similarly troubling. The percentage of people who say they don't have close friends has increased fourfold since 1990. I can definitely believe that one. And when you're in this truth, you don't have a lot of friends anyway. You see, when you come into this truth as a Hebrew Israelite, you separate yourself from your family, from your friends. You're still cordial, but there's a change that's happening within you to where you're separating from wickedness. Anybody that's doing any type of wickedness, you don't want to be around, because you've changed from the old man to the new man. You have the new spirit. So I definitely can attest to this from the Hebrew Israelite side of things. Let's continue. The share of Americans ages 25 to 54 who weren't married or living with a romantic partner went up to 38% in 2019 from 29% in 1990. People aren't getting married. For one thing, you have the feminist movement that has made men wary of getting married. Men are no longer falling for the game of getting married and then, their wife divorcing them, getting them from alimony, taking away the kids, making them, pay child support. So that game is going away. A record high 25% of 40-year-old Americans have never been married. I'm in that number. More than half of all Americans say that no one knows them well. In marriage, according to Esau, is going down to the justice of the peace or getting a piece of paper and then you're married. But marriage, according to the Bible, is a man and a woman getting together sexually via intercourse. That's marriage. You see, once you have intercourse with a woman, that's your wife. That is marriage. You see, not a piece of paper. According to the scriptures in the Bible, more than half of all Americans say that no one knows them well. The percentage of high school students who report persistent feelings of sadness or hopelessness shot up from 26% in 2009 to 44% in 2021. And like I said, that PD, the COVID-19, that helped to increase that because people were staying in their houses, they weren't socializing. So after the C-19 was over with, then people kind of stayed into that pattern of just being alone, watching Netflix, not socializing, which this was done purposely by the elites of the Edomites to bring about a change in people so that they can bring about the next stage, which will be, of course, the MOTB. So they got to bring something out, make things go bad and worse. And then they have to bring a big event that's known as a Black Swan event. You can look it up. Like 911 was a Black Swan event, Pearl Harbor, all right, just to name a few. They have to bring about a big, a catastrophic event to bring about their next phase, which will be phase 2, which will be that RFID chip spoken of in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 and 17, that they want to try to convince you to take in your forehead or your hand. You see? So they'll bring about all of these things, the purges, the famine, all right, pestilences, the dollar going down. All these things are going to accelerate them bringing about that CHIP. It's all in their plans, but really the plan is Yahweh's, the Most High. Let's continue reading and we'll get into some scriptures. My second related question is, why have Americans become so mean? I was recently talking with a restaurant owner who said that he has to eject a customer from his restaurant for rude or cruel behavior once a week, something that never used to happen. A head nurse at a hospital told me that many on her staff are leaving the profession because patients have become so abusive. At the far extreme of meanness, hate crimes rose in 2020 to their highest levels in 12 years. Murder rates have been surging at least until recently, same with gun sales. Social trust is plummeting. In 2000, 2/3 of American households gave to charity. In 2018, fewer than half did. All right? The words that define our age reek of menace, conspiracy, polarization, mass shootings, trauma, safe spaces. This is exactly what the elites want to happen so that they can bring total chaos and then bring a solution, which will be that RFID chip. All right? We're enmeshed in some sort of emotional, relational, and spiritual crisis, and it undergirds our political dysfunction. So that's all I want to read there. Let's get into some scriptures to back up the article. This is Matthew 24 and verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately. This is Yahushua, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming in the end of the world? And Yahushua answered and said unto them, Take heed that no man deceive you. Verse 5, For many shall come in my name, saying, I am I am the Messiah, and shall deceive many. So you have a lot of that going on now, even amongst the Hebrew Israelites, various people in the Hebrew Israelite groups. I'm not going to name who they are, but they're almost acting like, they're the Messiah. They're the Hamashiach. They're Yahushua. You see what I'm saying? To try to deceive many. You also have Christians as well that are doing this folly as well. Let's continue on. Verse 6, and you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. So at the moment, there are wars going on that the media is keeping from the general public. You have other countries, some third world countries, where the people are in an uproar. They're going against the governments because many of these third world countries, they have puppet leaders set up by the countries of NATO, of Europe, the European Union, and NATO, and of course Babylon, America, the United States. So many of these people are starting to complain, and they're getting tired of the United States and what they've been doing for the past 200, 300 years or so, as well as some of the other European countries. But the main bulldog, the main culprit is, of course, Babylon, America. But people are tired of Babylon, America. So, like it says here, you shall hear of wars and rumors of wars, but the end is not yet, as Yahushua said. Verse 7, For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines, and pestilences, and earthquakes, in diverse places. So, we have had a couple earthquakes. Matter of fact, there have been many earthquakes that you don't even hear about, you see. And also, there's various famines in certain parts of the world, and this is only going to get worse. And you're going to have pestilences. Of course, you just had that fire in Hawaii, and some of this is being brought about, of course, by the elites. Okay, the Edomites, the elites, the New World Order. They're bringing about this themselves through various devices. You see, through being able to change the weather through a thing called HARP that the military knows about, where they can change the weather. You see, so they have many tools that they can use. But in doing so, maybe they do understand the elites, but they still don't care. They're being controlled by Yahweh. He controls everything, the left and the right, evil and good. You see? So all these things are beginning to happen because, as you see, Russia is definitely against, Babylon, America. China is definitely against Babylon, America. You have various Middle Eastern countries that are against Babylon, America. So things are starting to ramp up. All right. And then during this process, you'll have that MOTB being brought about. And then you'll have World War III. And within that, you'll have Jacob's Trouble, of course. That's when they're going to try to convince the Hebrew Israelites to take that CHIP. They have the concentration camps. They're going to go into urban areas with military, martial law. So all these things are going to be kind of happening at the same time, you see. And during the midst of that, that's when Yahushua is going to come back in those chariots with the myriad of angels to extract the elect, the 1/3 of the Hebrew Israelites on this side, all right, and to destroy Babylon, America. And if you're not part of the elect, the 1/3 of the Hebrew Israelites, so-called blacks, Latinos, Native Americans, you're going to be destroyed as part of the 2/3 of our people that don't get it, haven't hearkened to this word, haven't changed their lives, haven't put off the old man ways, believe in Babylon, America. You're going to be destroyed along with the Edomites. So-called white men, the devil, our adversary, as well as the other nations that are here in America, the sons of men, the Chinese, the so-called Moabites, the Hamites, okay, so-called Africans, Ishmaelites, so-called Arabs, so on and so forth. All right? So let's continue on. Matthew 24:8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So that's just the beginning. And during the midst of this is when they're going to come after the Hebrew Israelites who profess and confess and believe in Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, who believe in these scriptures, all right? Who want the destruction of America, Babylon, who have been preaching the gospel and teaching the gospel. The brothers out there on the highways and the byways. And I'm primarily speaking of Great Millstone and their affiliates. So people are going to come after the Hebrew Israelites, those of us who believe in this truth. You see? Let's read Matthew 24. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted and shall kill you. And this is part of what you would call Jacob's trouble. And ye shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. See how important the name is? Yahweh the Most High. Okay, he exists, Yahweh, in the name of Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. See how important the name is? So during Jacob's trouble, some of us will be put in prison. Some of us will be beheaded for this truth. But you will receive a crown of life if you endure to the end. Matthew 24 and verse 10. And then shall many be offended. Many are offended by this word, this truth, including our own people. All right? And shall betray one another and shall hate one another. So you're going to have many of your own people that are going to turn against you during this time. That they're going to take that MOTB, all right, that CHIP, and they're going to turn against you. Many of your family members, your so-called friends, all right, they're going to hate you because they believe in Babylon, America, and they're going to be destroyed on the day of the Lord via nuclear missiles and as well as laser fire coming from the chariots of the Most High, of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 11, and many false prophets shall rise and shall deceive many. So you're going to have many false prophets that are going to try to convince you to take that CHIP, claiming that it's a miracle. This is a miracle. This is going to change the world. And if you take it, you're going to be destroyed. If you get that CHIP in your forehead or you get it in your hand, you've been warned. You've been given the warning by thousands of videos by Great Millstone and their affiliates. Matthew 24 and verse 12. This is the precipice of the lesson. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. And so we're in that time now where iniquity is at an all-time high. Okay? You got the homosexuality, which is viewed as being normal. All right? You have the men wanting to be women, women wanting to be men. You have the feminism. All right? Women dressing like truckers and shit. You know, acting masculine. Men acting effeminate. Everything is backwards. You see? Children are running around going crazy, especially in the urban areas. You got these gremlins amongst our people, the Hebrew Israelites, running around with guns. Now they have the magazines where they can make the guns into like a automatic weapon and spray it like a machine gun. So you have everything going crazy, man. Everything is going crazy. Sin is going rampant, and the love of many has grown cold. Matthew 24, verse 13. But he that shall endure until the end, the same shall be saved. You see? So if you endure to the end, as a Hebrew Israelite, you pray, you read scriptures, you separate yourself from the world, you have faith in Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, that he's gonna look out for you, okay, in these times to come, then you're gonna be saved. But you have to endure to the end. You can't get into this being a Hebrew Israelite and then be on the fence, in the middle. You're either in or you're out. There is no I'm in the middle. You see? Because if you're in the middle, you're going to take that CHIP spoken of in Revelation chapter 13, verse 16 and 17. So on that note, I hope this lesson was edifying to you, and I want to give all praises to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Shalom.